Chelsea 2, Fluminense 0. Chelsea are in the Club World Cup final where they'll face one of PSG or Real Madrid, which will be a very difficult game. But Chelsea, they could very well win this Club World Cup. They know how to win the big European world competitions. And look, we'll talk about Chelsea, but we can't go more than 30 seconds into this video about talking about Joao Pedro. What have Chelsea signed? Chelsea look like they've got a real number 9. And Chelsea with a real number 9, guys, are going to be a problem next season. Chelsea are going to be a problem next season. The fluidity that they were playing with. And also, Chelsea have made £18 million just from getting into this final. So, they're going to spend a bit more this summer. There's probably going to be another winger coming in with Maresca set to leave. I assume you're going to get a goalkeeper. Maybe another centre-back for depth. I thought the 2 centre-backs did well today. But Chelsea have some squad coming along, it'll be interesting to see how Gittins does. I think profile-wise he suits Maresca ball, but is very young and raw. But what did I tell you guys about Joao Pedro? I said there's too much negativity on Joao Pedro to Chelsea. Yes, like Nkunku, like Joao Felix, like Kai Havertz, like a number of players Chelsea have signed. Is he a 9? Is he a 10? What's his best role? But I said the difference between Joao Pedro is he's a ruthless finisher, and I think he will play as a 9 for Chelsea. And today, Nicholas Jackson, man, he's going to be worried. Liam Delap might even be worried because that performance from Joao Pedro was insane. So I want to talk about Chelsea 2, Fluminense 0. Of course, I want to talk about Joao Pedro, but this is Chelsea's starting 11 going into the game. Pedro Neto on the left. I think he plays better on the right, but he arguably could be, if Chelsea win it, you could argue Neto might get player of the tournament. He's been very good. Joao Pedro, fantastic today. Both goals were fantastic. One was a screamer outside the box, which he hadn't managed a goal outside the box in 70 games for Brighton, which is pretty mad when you think about it. And the other one was just a little bit of a dribble, placed it, bash. He didn't even place it, he just smashed it. The goalkeeper no goalkeeper in the world could save that. And Nkunku looked a lot better today. Enzo Fernandez just being classic Enzo Fernandez. I think his creativity and value and input in the final third is really underrated. Moises Caicedo is just a monster as always. The fact that every game I watch Moises Caicedo play and he drops an 8 out of 10 plus, you just know he's a pure class player. That's not consistency. That's pure class. Palmer fuming with Jackson at the end there. Could have got a goal. Decent game from Palmer. The centre-backs did well. Cucurella, good clearance off the line. Gusto is a bit of a liability for Chelsea, but I thought he was okay. Sanchez, he's a bit of a liability. I think, you've got your 9. I think you need your goalkeeper. But we've got to talk about Joao Pedro. That is not normal from Joao Pedro. First start for Chelsea, 2 goals. Not just 2 goals. Not just 2 tap-ins. 2 effing goals. Like 2 goals that were monstrous bolts. Bash. No goalkeeper in the world is saving. Semi-final. First start versus his boyhood club. No celebration. Pure business from Joao Pedro. And that is so important because he's going to become a fan favourite already. If you're a striker and you impress in your first start and you impress in your first 2 games, that confidence to get him running as Chelsea start the Premier League season next year will be key. And I like his attitude of cutting his holiday short, coming and joining Chelsea in the Club World Cup, doing that. The first goal from him was just outrageous power and placement from outside the box. The second goal was more clinical. I say composed finish, but his ball strike and the power behind that. What I said in my video about Joao Pedro, because I said to you guys, Joao Pedro is a really good signing for Chelsea. It's a better signing than it's getting credit for. I'm a big Joao Pedro fan. If you look through my tweets from like 2 years ago and how I spoke about Joao Pedro 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, before he's even linked to Chelsea, I've always been a huge Joao Pedro fan. I've always said this was going to be a good signing for Chelsea. I said I see him playing as a 9 for Chelsea, and I think he could be a 9, but he could play with Delap behind a 9, but I think he'll be a 9 with Cole Palmer. But I said with Joao Pedro, Nicholas Jackson's quite good when it comes to stuff outside the box. Like Nicholas Jackson, look, he's been a liability the last few months, but Nicholas Jackson, up until about January when he got injured, was pretty good for Chelsea last season. And his outside the box work was really good. His link up, his hold up, his connection with Palmer was really good last year, Nicholas Jackson. But when he got in the box, Nicholas Jackson was a liability. When it was front of goal, when it was finishing, Nicholas Jackson was a liability. With Joao Pedro, he's an all-round complete striker. He has some of Nicholas Jackson's strengths in terms of he can do what Jackson can do outside the box, drop deep, link play, dribble, connect play, make runs, manipulate defenders, have the ball a bit. But unlike Nicholas Jackson, he's a ruthless finisher. He is a clinical finisher in the box. And that's the perfect striker for me. He's not just someone that can finish it, but he's also someone that brings more. He showed movement, hold-up play, link-up, maturity, good decision making. Chelsea, I feel like I've found their 9. Obviously, early days, but Fluminense are a good side. People are saying, "Oh, Chelsea have only beat Brazilian teams to get to the final." And it's not their fault. Al Hilal knocked out Man City. Chelsea, to get to the final, have beaten Brazilian teams that are halfway through their season, that are a lot less knackered and a lot more up for it, that are proven to be difficult for everyone. You can't disregard how good these Brazilian teams are. Chelsea have done really well, and that performance from Joao Pedro was absolutely incredible. You could not ask for more. He is a baller, and I've said this. Joao Pedro, Morgan Rogers, Cunha, they are my favourite kind of type players. You know, they've got that ball carrying, they've got that power, they've got that strike, they've got that flair. That's what I was saying the other day. They're my favourite kind of players. Ball striking, one of the cleanest strikers in Europe in terms of shooting. No one saves that shot. Those shots. Link up play and creativity. There's a reason he's normally played behind the striker, because he can bring others into play, which means he's more than just a goal scorer. He's going to do so much more, which is so big. You know, Delap is a goal scorer, but he might lack in certain areas. Nicholas Jackson, I actually think, is quite good outside the box. When he gets in the box, he's a liability. Look, Nicholas Jackson, man, this has been a Club World Cup to forget for him. The red cards, the should have passed it to Palmer at the end there. Penny for Nicholas Jackson's thoughts when he saw Joao Pedro balling out. I think Nicholas Jackson could be gone. And I actually thought, like, first half of last season, he was showing good signs, Jackson, but he could be gone. I still think there's a decent player in there, but he's got to prove himself. But what else I liked about Joao Pedro was the ruthless intent, just his demeanour. He was determined. He's now a fan favourite, I reckon. I mean, I'm not a Chelsea fan, but I bet every Chelsea fan watching that was like gas, like, okay, this Joao Pedro, man. This Joao Pedro is a baller. Like, I feel like every Chelsea fan watching that is going to have some level of excitement. I also want to give a shout out to Pedro Neto. There we go. How good has Pedro Neto been this Club World Cup? His dribbling, his running. We are seeing Wolves Pedro Neto. This post end of season Club World Cup Pedro Neto has been ridiculous. His positioning and work off the ball has been very good. But when he looks fitter, he looks fit, he looks sharp, he's had injury issues, but when he's getting the ball, he's dribbling, he's running, he's taking on players, he's making people happen. This is the Wolves Pedro Neto. He's driving at people, he's causing a problem. And you can see Maresca starting in every game, he's trusting him, he's showing his value. Pedro Neto is a player that when he went to Chelsea, I was so jealous of, so annoyed Chelsea got, because I'm a big fan of him. And then he started a little bit hit and miss, but we saw glimpses of what he can do, and there's been inconsistencies there. But we're seeing the Pedro Neto that I thought Chelsea had signed in this Club World Cup. And look, who knows if he'll bring that to the Premier League next season? Who knows if Joao Pedro is going to bring what he did to the Premier League next season? But what I'm saying is you can only judge what's in front of them. And these are encouraging signs from Neto. These are encouraging signs with Joao Pedro. They're going to have the lap that's going to come in and grow. They've got potentially a new winger coming in if Madueke goes. Gittins is obviously an exciting player. If you look at what he did the first half of the season at Dortmund, it was exciting, but he struggled under the new manager. You know, you've got Enzo Fernandez, Palmer, Esteval that can play as 10. Esteval coming in is going to be a really exciting one. You know, you look at Chelsea, I think they need another top winger, a bit more proven player, because Madueke is going to go. But all of a sudden, they've got some good attacking depth. And we know that Chelsea have arguably got the best top 3 midfield in the world when you look at Enzo, Caicedo, Palmer. They've also got Santos and Lavia as depth. Even Kieran Dewsbury all showing bits in this Club World Cup. You know, Chelsea are looking very good. I still think the goalkeeper's a liability. I still think they could find the long-term Thiago Silva replacement. I mean, he's just class Thiago Silva, isn't he? But, like, I feel like they're an experienced winger, a long-term Thiago Silva replacement, and maybe just a goalkeeper that isn't Sanchez, away from something serious. Like, they've got a good team. They've got good depth. They're going to be a problem. Delap, Pedro, Neto, Gittins, Palmer, Esteval, a new winger probably on the way with Madueke set to go. Enzo and Caicedo in midfield is security. Lavia can come in. Santos can come in. You know, they're building this squad that is young, that's aggressive. It's only going to get better. And I think Maresca is coaching this squad really well. To add to that, the squad is young. It's technical. It's aggressive. They're building something. They're building something, Chelsea. Also, Caicedo, as I said, week in, week out, every time I watch Caicedo, he's dropping these 8 out of 10 performances. He is almost relentless every game in duels, in transitions, in ball recoveries, in everything. You've got Enzo pulling the strings, making passes. How many times has Enzo made a pass that's either got an assist, or made a pass that's made another, and then someone else has made a pass that's led to a goal, he's got a pre-assist, made a pass that's resulted in a goal, or he's made a box run and he's scored. How much impact has Enzo Fernandez had this last year in the final third for Chelsea? When nobody's bringing up Enzo and Caicedo's price tag anymore, that they've been good. Like, the midfield's been there for Chelsea. Santos looked good in the last game. You know, Lavia's a good player, and when Lavia's fit, I always feel like Chelsea are very defensively secure when Lavia's fit. But Chelsea have got an elite midfield. Their attacking depth is there. It'll be interesting to see how Gittins does. I've always said with Chelsea, if they can get that goalkeeper and they can get that 9, and Joao Pedro's looking like that 9, they could be a force, because they've got some good players, and Maresca's proved to be a good coach. Look at Cucurella. Brilliant clearance off the line. I mean, last experience was world class, but Cucurella's played so many minutes last season, like nearly 5,000 minutes last season. Maybe you could argue another signing they need is maybe left back depth. Cucurella showed glimpses. Even Nkunku was alright today. You know, Cucurella is, I mean, the way he's gone from 2 years ago trying to loan him out to Man United to, you know, an elite left back. You know, Maresca's showing good tactical signs. Chelsea kind of set up in this 3-1-6 shape that I really liked. Chelsea's last 9 goals have come from 9 different scorers, apart from now Joao Pedro scoring 2 today. So the last 10 goals have come from 9 different scorers. Like, there was so much positivity with Chelsea. I think there's still things that they need to work on, improve upon. I think defending open play crosses remains a problem. I think elements of box defending remains a problem. And I still think they could do with a leader at the back. I think, you know, the defensive options are decent, but I still think they could do with a leader at the back. There was times where they were a little bit gettable. But Chelsea were in control today. I think scoring early meant that Fluminense had to come out in the second half and not do a low block, which would have frustrated Chelsea. Helped. But Chelsea was showing threat today. And you've got to remember this. And going back to my notes, Fluminense came in today unbeaten. And Chelsea controlled the performance. And that should not be overlooked, how good Fluminense have been in this Club World Cup. You know, how good Joao Pedro's goal was. And obviously that goal forced Fluminense to open up, which would have helped Chelsea. But Chelsea are now going into the final with momentum, with confidence, with a new player in that's confident, that's confidence growing in the squad. And they could win this thing. Like, look, PSG are the favourites. PSG are the obvious favourites, because look how good PSG are. But Chelsea, when it comes to a European final, Chelsea, when it comes to a competition like this, they're very, very good. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching today's video. Let me know your thoughts down below, Chelsea fans. But yeah, I think very positive signs. And wow, Chelsea into another final. Joao Pedro is looking insane. Madness. Thank you for watching. Bye.